Hey there, gang. So, we're locked in, doing more shit. Basically, what I've built out is we experienced a bug when I left it running yesterday, so I got to run in like half an hour. So, we're just busting out some quick work. Again, locked in on like 4 hours of sleep. Having a hard time focusing, but we're getting shit done. I had a sales call this morning with somebody, and they closed, which is fucking great. I have another sales call tonight. So that means I currently have 2 clients to fill for. John, my current client, we've been having an issue with Facebook ad targeting. So they've been sending him people outside of his radius, which is a common problem Facebook has. So I think I'm going to have to use some kind of like ChatGPT tool and dig in and find like and find out if there's some kind of like if I can just rip a list of zip codes and if I can have him get more specific about the specific towns that he does not want me marketing in. Okay. Actually, I'm going to text him that right now. Also, can you write me down a specific list of suburbs / districts that you don't want me getting leads from? Be as specific as you can. Even like street names work really well. So, in terms of what I'm building, what I'm trying to build as fast as possible. If anybody doesn't know, anybody who's signing on right now, basically what I'm building is I'm building a bot to automatically generate me an absolute shit ton of images, like creatives for clients. You can see here we currently have like all the data. And I also took the time last night to build out a GUI. It doesn't really do a lot on its own, but it's just nice to like have like a workflow where I can just like click around. You can see it says push to meta, new campaign, reiterate. I spent a lot of this morning dealing with coding out bugs because whenever I would click reiterate, nothing would happen. And so I really dug into the code and I figured out what was going wrong, which was basically it was pulling data from the manifest. So if we go into like the output, you can see here there's no manifest. But if I go into like a different one, you can see there's a manifest here with like all of the data needed for the campaign. But you can see if we go in here, there is no manifest. So I vibe coded my way through building a file that digs into the entire JSON and looks at everything and not just the manifest, because the manifest does not get generated until the end. So that was an issue I was having. Another thing that I just built out was running image checking concurrently. So basically how it works is it's running 10 at a time at any given time instead of just running like one at a time, and it's doing them in batches. Something I do want to implement today while I'm here is chunking protocols. So protocols for chunking data to the AI models. I saw an Instagram reel about it, and I'm literally just going to vibe code my way into it. Again, I want to be very, very clear about something. I am not a programmer. I'm not gonna say I'm a technical guy. I'm literally just vibe coding my way. I'm literally just vibe coding my way into making useful tools for me, which I think is something every agency owner should do. I think vibe coding your way into making useful tools and forcing yourself how to do like even basic technical stuff, and just understanding like basic levels of how to do things is a compared to the base before. All these models are just for the chunking part. So I found a interesting reel by AI engineer Peter, If you guys are also doing any kind of vibe coding, I would recommend looking into AI engineer Peter, because he gets it. He knows what he knows what to look for. So, and I'm trying to implement a um, yeah, I just need the ability to chunk things better. Again, it's not a necessary feature. Um, in terms of the things that are necessary that I want to build out, so I'm doing a bit more thinking in my head of how I want to chunk everything in terms of like what software goes where. Um, and I've decided that my original plan was this bot was also going to be in charge of my automating client fulfillment. So what I want to do is I basically want to create like a Google sheet where I can click like here's their page ID, right? We already have access to their page ID. Create the campaign that I know that works for my client and start it and just like get it off the ground running, right? Because I'm basically creating the same fucking thing for every single one of these contractors to start with, and then have another section of the sheet where I can see performance, I can see current total client revenue, current total client profit. Um, and what I've decided is that those are going to be this like these are going to be separate bots. Um, and the reason why is because I want this bot to run solely on my computer. I don't want to host it on the cloud in any way. I just want it to be on my own PC. But I'm obviously not planning on like selling it, right? So this is just a tool that's only ever going to be for me. I'm never going to give it away. I'm never going to sell it. Because my goal is to get it to the point where it's so fucking good that it would be stupid to sell it, where I would literally be losing money selling it. So the goal is to create a separate software to do all the one-click integrations, and then maybe I might sell that. That's one I'd be interested in selling to agency owners. Not, I'm not interested in selling this here though, because I think if I can get this bot just right, there is real fucking potential for me to like print. Like, look at this shit. I started standing further away from conversations until someone asked if I was okay. I brushed 4 times a day thinking I was being thorough. Turns out I was making it worse. Like, these are killer hooks for Facebook ads. Just brush better, they said. But nobody told me I was creating the problem. Click to discover why. Like, I cover my mouth when I laugh now without thinking. Click learn more to see what changed. So, in terms of a few things that need to get changed, something that I really want to force the bot to do, even though I've tried forcing it down its throat, is it's not the padding is too small. So it's like, well, it's too small. So I'm going to ask the agent, what percentage is this padded at, and what was the font size for this image generated? So I'm going to ask it being like, hey, what do you think this was? But yeah, so I think that's going to be what changes for me. I'm going to, instead of building a bot that does all that shit from my computer, I'm going to be hosting it. I'm just going to, like, I have my own VPS that I've made like my own Discord bots, and I've had coded before for YouTube stuff I've made in the past. So I understand like principles of like, you know, SSH and how to connect and shit like that. So that's the idea. Is that I want that to be hosted on the cloud instead of it being hosted locally here on my computer. There's obviously like networking things, and that's actually a big reason why Font size, I started standing further away. I was okay with 15% padding. No, use the old padding settings. With the new padding settings, the font would be larger and the padding smaller. Is the new padding settings also being used for the regeneration, as in the review process, or is it only being used for the initial generation? So this is why working within a LLM code environment is really good, because specifically Cursor is the one I found to be the best at this. Cursor specifically pulls in all of the data from your entire project, and it understands everything that's going on. So if you take a snippet of code and you tell ChatGPT, hey, this is broken, fix it, it's going to use what it believes is a good reference for that. But Cursor is smart enough to look at your entire project and understand. Okay, use for regeneration. And padding on 10% all size. This is only in the prompt text set to Claude. Use the 8% padding. Fix that line and make sure that that data is included in the regeneration prompt, and it's something that can be flagged by Image GPT, as in the font size is not big enough and the padding is not correct. So if you guys want to make your own AI workflow, the thing I would keep in mind is if you're creating images, look at an image like this, right? So this image is generated by Nano Banana. I've been using Nano Banana for all generation. I was using Dolly, but I've switched over to Nano Banana because it's cheaper and it just works better. It might not be cheaper forever, but generating these 200 images cost me $1 compared to what it cost with Dolly, which it cost $10. So something to consider. Another thing to mention is that me using AI for these image generation, because of how simple it is stupid. And what I really should be using is any kind of like Photoshop API. There's a ton of them. And that's what I really should be using, not this, because these images are simple on principle. So like it is not necessary to have these generated by an AI, and it just creates a bunch of complications. But honestly, I just wanted to see if I could. So I think for this bot, specifically the initial generation, I think I'm going to be switching it to just a Photoshop once I can prove that, like, hey, I did figure it out. I'm just moving it to this way because it's cheaper and easier. Now, like, I'm probably going to keep the review steps, because what happens is when this gets generated, it then talks to Dolly. Dolly is like, okay, or Image GPT specifically. It talks to Image GPT, and Image GPT is like, okay, I reviewed it, and based on your requirements, it either passes or fails. If it fails because of these reasons, right? Actually, that's a good question. Did I implement that feature? When a image is getting reviewed and checked, there is an option that it can succeed and not get regenerated, right? So that's another thing I like about Cursor, is that you can ask the workflow. And the workflow will figure it out. So like I can ask Cursor questions like this and make sure that that's actually a thing that we have implemented, because I don't remember if I implemented it or not. Now, I probably did, but like I don't want to go through the entire fucking, like, all of the different code here to figure it out. Passes GPT, gets marked as approved, is renamed with pass, is added to approve images list, not failed, is not regenerated. Only images that fail the GPT kick. If yes, an image is passes review either manually or via GPT-4 Vision, it succeeds and is not regenerated. Only failed images go to the regeneration process. So that is an advantage of using AI for this stuff, is that it is easier to make changes compared to like a base like Photoshop GPT. Like I can change the color whenever I want, and just like with the bot. But it would reduce a lot of complexity. So there's honestly not really a good reason. There's honestly not really like a super good reason for it. Unless you are generating like Okay, I can think of a specific situation where you're not generating simple images like that, but you're instead generating more complicated images, like the ones that you would most likely actually see in an image generation, like on the Facebook ad library. Now, the reason why I don't do that is because okay, what is it telling me? Let's check. So yeah, it's chunking all of them, and then it's like saving. Oh, weird. Stream disconnected. It's back now, though. That was odd. Is that it's like disconnecting itself. So the review process... Sorry, I need to go back to this part. The review process is checking to make sure that the image is in line with my recommendations and what I want. So this would probably fail, and that's because I want the font size to be bigger. So at a minimum, the font size that I'm looking for is like this. Like I want font size more like this. Now, I don't care about the stroke. I don't care about the extra color. Because, again, the point of this workflow is to generate hooks to be used as base statics just to do massive tests. My only goal is testing as much as I can. So it's like, I know that the images that ChatGPT or whatever aren't going to be that good. But if I generate hundreds of them, probably one of them is going to be pretty good, right? So then I, with my brain, my human brain, can go in and rewrite it and make it even better and make a better version of this workflow. Well, sorry, make a better version of the image, whether it's like more unique, whether it's more varied, whether it's whatever. I can make a better version on my own, which is true. Like humans are always going to produce better results than AI. The use of AI is doing this bulk grunt work. So a lot of these hooks on their own aren't that good. This is the thing that people don't realize about AI-enabled stuff, is that if you rely on the AI for everything, it's not going to do what you want. Like this, right? On paper, this hook is fine, but this image is wrong. Like, this wouldn't convert. It looks weird when it's missed. I miss biting in fresh bread. Click to discover what happened to my teeth. That's good. But see, only some of these are hitters. But I want to make sure that all of these like this. Why the fuck did this happen? Why the fuck did Nana Banana decide to put it in a phone? I don't want it in a phone. But look at this here. This is all fucked up. I started avoiding phonings and family gathering until a stranger asked if I'd lost someone close. Like a hook like that isn't going to perform. I know that. I understand what the GPT is trying to present to the audience, but this is not going to convert. And I know that, and it's fine, because if I rip like 500 images, which ideally I want to get to the point of ripping like 1,000, like that would be like when we start doing like thousands, that's when the tests actually start producing like real results. A con with that is that you do need to pump up a good amount for ad spend. So if you're doing lead gen, you need to pump out a pretty good amount for ad spend. Analyzing 238 failures. Generated image still failed. Let's see if this image actually did fail. Yeah, I mean, I think this could have passed. I think it would have been okay if this passed. We obviously need to lower the rubric again. It's something I've done a couple times, but it's like the rubric is quite strict. On the review image workflow, allow an image like this to pass. Even though it's not perfect, even though the spacing isn't exactly right, even though the font isn't exactly right, it's right enough to not justify a regeneration. So, what about like this one? Click to learn the real problem. Like, I mean, these are all fine. There's nothing really inherently wrong with any of these. It's just that the bot is not very lenient. Like image GPT is just not very lenient. That is one thing I'm including in the future, though. It's to make sure that, like you can see here, that's included, where it's like we're making sure that our font size, the image GPT review includes checking the font size and padding and making sure it's sufficient. Again, this is like in a perfect world, it'd be really nice. But you know, it doesn't always work out like you hoped, which is fine. Like it's not really a huge deal. And also the attempt image generation only tries twice. I don't make it try multiple times. So just brush better. The pink in the sink wasn't yeah, this obviously failed. The pink in my sink brushing, like it said say from brushing too hard. I avoided the dentist for 5 years because I thought nothing could help. Click to see what changed. Don't mind that. I mean, I would prefer click to see what fixed it. I avoided dentist for 5 years because I thought nothing could help. Click to see what changed. You need deep cleaning, 800 quote. You need deep cleaning, 800 quote. I kept my mouth too clean. Like, some of these are worse than the initial generation, which is interesting. I don't know why the initial generation is making everything worse. It's odd. Okay, so the next thing we're going to implement is we're going to implement the chunking technique, because I think that's what a big problem that we're having right now is we're not chunking the data to the model correctly. Instagram to transcript. Ow, I don't want to use this fucking app again. They were trying to charge me like... God damn it. Instagram to transcript free. Convert videos to text. Just fucking generate. What? How fucking useless. Okay. Transcribe Instagram video. I'll try this one. That's the thing about AI that I'm learning, is that it's always going to be more critical than you might want. Which is fine in a lot of situations. But it's not always what I'm dogging for. All right. Estimated wait time, 3 minutes. God damn. Odd. Okay, is it done? my god, this is taking fucking forever. I gotta dip here in like 5 minutes. Wish there was just some like goddamn like really fast transcripting tool. Because like I can't give AI the video MP4 because then it's like, well, I can only do MP3s. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, man? Check a library called Doseling. Your documents ready for Gen AI. Introduces advanced PDF understanding, provides seamless integration for the GI ecosystem. Here, we'll ask the bot. I'm interested in integrating this GitHub workflow into our program to better chunk prompts and summarization for every single one of our steps. Do you think it would be a good idea to integrate this? You can answer no. Or if you know of a better chunking method for us to integrate to provide more higher quality results to our agents, because I believe we're giving them too much data, and that's why they're returning some weird things sometimes. So, like, another thing is, like, that I'm learning more and more with this stuff is that you guys really need to tell the bot everything. You're not telling the bot enough. Like, just tell everything that you're thinking about. Just say everything. Like, don't hold anything back. Like, really just think about it and just go, like, all the way. Is this any better? I like that it fixed... there was an issue that we had where... I think I'm going to get rid of the row limit. I'm just going to say as long as the padding... We need to just increase font size even more. Sentence-based checking with semantic choking. Implement hierarchy. Overlap. Plan out the entire implementation. Were these images generated with our new font and padding size requirements or the old ones? So this is another thing that you can ask, is because we save all of our data, like, you can ask it, like, hey, what was this used? Like, was this used for the right thing? And if it wasn't, it'll tell you, which is great. Chunking methods. What seamless chunking approach do you prefer? Semantic chunkings, hybrid, improve basic chunking, token and small chunks, overlap, simpler, lower cost, better quality, more APIs, improve basic for very large documents. Let's do this one. What's your main priority? Quality, better summarization, cost, good quality. Yeah, that's what I want. And this is like another thing, is that it like builds out questions. It's like, this is why Cursor's fucking awesome, because it's like asking me the questions that it thinks that I want to know. And those are good questions. Inaccurate token estimation, oversized chunks, overwhelming models, no chunk overlap causing context loss, basic merge strategy, file name, chunk size. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to do, and then I got to bounce. I'm literally just going to, like, okay, update config of various documents, should chunk with overlap, should use hierarchical summarization, ensure VSL scripts are prioritized. Expected improvements, more accurate chunk loading, smaller, denser chunks. Let's double check. Is this chunking method also being used for our image generation? I believe that our image generation models are getting swarmed with too much information, and that's why some things aren't coming out correctly. Reduces weird agent responses. So we'll ask it this question, make sure this is part of it, and then I gotta take a piss, and I'm going to jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so there's one more thing I got to build out here, and then I got to bounce. But yeah, if anybody has any questions about anything, again, I'm doing these streams daily. Feel free to subscribe, leave any questions. I'll answer them as soon as possible. Plan shooting CUDA, optimize base prompts, use token, should I implement the implementation plan? Yes, update the plan. Yeah, I'm really just ripping vibe coding. And again, like, I think vibe coding is fine if you're not selling it. Because there is obvious massive issues with this workflow that don't make it like any kind of justification for like production level. I would not sell this. First off, I would not sell it, number one, because my goal is to make way more money by actually just using the fucking program than actually like like I want to use the fucking program, basically. Like, I want to use it for its intended purpose and not just create something to sell it to convince other people that it's what they need for their business, right? I'm building something that's for me. I'm building something that, like, this is for me. This is not for fucking whatever, right? This is not for to sell. This is for me personally. So because I'm the one who's using it, right? I am fine with things that I don't think would make sense for production level, right? Okay, maximum image prompts, limits for generated prompts. Let's get cloud enhancement, blow tokens. GPT mini, indent, summarize offers. I'm really just trying to burn through this before I finish, because again, I really got to bounce. Smart content logic. Image generation, concise, better Gemini results, accurate token counting prevents errors, smart enhancement reduces unnecessary API calls, prompt compression ensures quality within token limits. All right, let's build it. So I got a bounce, gang, but look, if you guys are building, anything, my biggest piece of advice is build it for yourself. Don't build it for other people. Don't go into building something with the expectation of your font size multiplier, image, confirm prompt size, exactly area black, specific font size, exactly a padding, just need a requirement. Should I check the specific? Yes, you should check the specific images metadata to confirm. What would be the font size multiple and padding limit exactly in order to get a image that is like this for our image generation? Okay. All right. I got to bounce, gang. Thanks for watching the stream.